Hello everybody and welcome back. It's been a few days since I've really recorded a video on the artwork. I have uploaded a couple of shorter videos about what was going on, like the fair and such. But today I am actually going to try to do 3 different scenes on 3 different bottles for that fair that we're working at, and take them down there to try to sell them. Because good news, I am officially an artist now. I actually have sold 2 of my pieces of art. And while some people may be like, who cares? To me, that's a huge deal. Because I really wasn't expecting it this quick. Anyway, so let's see what we're going to do today and let's get started. So, on these I'm going to do 3 different trees, because apparently they seem to be very popular around this area. So I'm going to do the trees. Start with, let's shake up our colors. Now for the backgrounds, I'm going to use orange, real orange, and gloss sunbeam yellow. And we just kind of mix it together. The orange is not real shaken up yet. It got a little cold around here last night. We had a nice storm come through, so it's a little damp and cold out here right this second. Might take me a few minutes for the bottles to dry the way I want them to. Now, on top of 2 of these, I'm going to add pimento, which is a reddish color, and it's satin. So I'll add that on 2 of them. And then on the 3rd one, I'm going to add in a little gray. So I want the trunks of the trees to look a little different. So, that gray's some gray. Alright, so there's that. Now we got to let that dry for a couple of minutes, because this paint does have to be dry before I go on to the next step. So, while we're waiting for it to dry and you get to see me flapping my arms like Big Bird, I shall take a sip of my trusty brew. Okay. Probably should have brought out the heater. Brought out the hair dryer, but that's okay. I've only got, let's see, well, I actually have about an hour and a half, so we'll see if we can get these done in that time. I mean, I should be able to, but it's pretty damp and humid out here, so it might take a little longer for these to actually dry. But I'll do alternative measures if I have to. So now we're going to take black and we're going to spray on top of all 3 of them. I probably should have waited for the last one, but that's alright. And then while the black is still damp, we draw on our tree. So taking this putty or palette knife, I like the one that's angled and it's got the shorter edge on it. And draw on the main trunk of the tree. I want that one a little thicker, so we're gonna try to put more of that flat edge down. And as you're going down, you just turn it out to widen out that trunk. So there's that. And then you want some branches, and this one I'm actually trying to make a wider tree, so I want the branches to like come out all the way over on both sides. So there's one, there's the other one, bring it clear out here, and then add a couple of branches in the middle of that one. This bottle does not want to sit still. It's crock-eyed. I think it's been drinking. Now, one of the artists that I follow and I get tricks and tips from said that if you actually go out and look, most trees, when you branch something off, that branch usually has two branches. And what I mean by that is, if you have, say, this branch right here that I'm working on, coming off the main branch, it should Y off at least one time and not just come out by itself. Now, occasionally you'll see a branch like that, but not very often. So I will follow his advice, and whenever I have a branch, I'll give it at least two Ys. And people seem to think that's the way to go because they do say they like it. So here, say one over here, deep, 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 and one up here. All right, there's my branches for that one. Now we move on to the next one. And for this one, I actually want to do something a little different. So what I'm going to do, and I may have to soften it up again, is I want to put a little yellow right here. Yeah, you'll see what I'm doing here in a minute, hopefully. But here we go. Now let's see if this is still soft. Starting to get a little harder on the bottom part. Top, not too bad. So, here. And when you're doing, well, not just trees, but if you, whatever you're doing, do what feels right. And remember, you're making it, so you get to design it the way you want. So if you want a tree that's leaning on one side, make a tree that's leaning on one side. If you want a tree that is pink and yellow, make a pink and yellow tree. It's completely up to you. And then finally, the third one with the gray. We'll see how this one is. Still fairly decent. Okay. May have to get me a different knife. This one is making a little bit too thick a line, so bye. I just knocked my knives off. So we'll get the thinner metal one. See if that does a little better for what I'm trying to do. Yeah, a little bit. Alright, so, and yes, this paint is staying pretty wet. So, considering how long it's been actually sitting. Alright, so here, let me see if I can get this trunk down a little bit more. Yeah, I'm going to have to get some clear coat and coat the bottom of these because I want to make some trunk, roots off the trunk. So, be right back. And I'm right back. Okay, just give a little gloss on the bottom. Just want to wet that up just a little bit. So give it a second, and then there we go. And you come down just a little farther. All right. And you. There we go. All right. There we go. All right. Woo! It's amazing what a little determination, a little perseverance, and a little stubbornness can do for you. All right. So, there's the trees, there's the trunk. That gray did not come out like I wanted it to, and it really showed the orange back behind this one, but that's okay. We can still use that color. It's fine. It's fine, I tell you. Okay. Now, get our stock card here so we can mix some colors together. And the first one I'm going to mix, I want some green leaves. I want on this one because I want that big bushy looking tree and I want some green. So, to get the green, we don't use green. I know, counterintuitive, huh? But we'll put some blue down. Make sure we put the right cap back on. We'll put some yellow down right on top of that. And then for the highlight at the very tippy top, make sure they're shaken up real good. So I'll add in some white. All right. Now, we get our handy dandy paintbrush. I just took some paper towels and folded it over 5-6 times and then ripped the corner out, and I actually stapled it because it actually stays together much better when you staple it. I've found when I don't staple it, these things tend to fall apart after a couple of uses. Then, just taking it from the bottom, and here, let me see if I can get this over so you can see. I don't know if you'll be able to see it from there or not. Let's find out. Take it from the bottom, kind of roll it through, middle, get some of that yellow in there, and then some white on the top for the highlight. And then just now, the farther you go down on the tree, the more you want it to be a darker green and not so much of a white highlight or yellowish highlight, because that's supposed to be the shaded area. And that's why you do it this way. The dark, to bring the darker color in, that's the shade. This is the middle ground, and then this is the highlight where the sun's kind of hitting it. So, we just keep going. Let's get that baby filled in, because I want a big tree here. I want that filled in all over the place. Alright. And of course, as always, if your paint starts to dry up or you start to run out, just spray a little more down. I actually sprayed quite a bit, so I'm doing pretty good myself right here. There we go. Alright. And just a little bit more coverage in here, right up in that area. Alright. So there's our big tree. And I still just, if I can get just a little bit more paint off there, I still want just a little bit more here in the middle. Alright. My paint's drying out. Hard to get anything off it. But that's okay. So there's one. Now I just got to let it dry. And hope it dries in the next hour enough that I won't mess it up when I grab it. Now, moving on to number 2. With number 2, we're going to do a little bit different color for the foliage. So we're going to actually put down some red, some of that pimento I had earlier. And with that, we're actually going to mix in some blue. And then we're actually going to put yellow for the highlight. And as you notice, I'm using the same card I used before. I will not use the same brush, however, because that one is pretty messy. Good thing I made up about half a dozen of these in advance, huh? Alright, so let's see what we do when we mix red and blue. Get some red, get some blue, and then a little bit of yellow for the highlight. Dab that in there. See what we got. Red, blue. Alright, now we stay away from the yellow as much. More of the red and blue. That is actually making more a brownish color. See? And that's why you mix them together. Because you never know what you're going to get. And sometimes you get some very interesting results. So I'm going to add some more red down, but this time I'm going to put a little orange in there instead of the blue. Let's see what happens. I still have plenty of yellow in there. Alright, so mix the red and the orange. See what this does. Add a little white or that in there. There we go. How about that? That is more fall colors. And see, you can just go right over what you had down before. Not going to hurt it. Matter of fact, if you don't like what you did, spray it over with black and start again. Alright. I'm going to leave that little bit of green. You know, the leaves are changing, so there's some greens in there, some browns, a little yellow. And then that yellow in the background was like a highlight. Just like a light shining through, like the sun was sinking. So it's, you know, a little bit of yellow shining through behind it. And there's that. There's number 2. And moving on to number 3. Now on this one, I am going to completely change out the card and the brush because I want a color that's completely different from that. So I'll get me out my fresh card. And then I'm going to use, in this case, lavender. So I'm actually using gloss icy grape. So we got some gloss grape. And we're still going to use the blue, so we'll add the blue in there. And then, I think in this case, I'm actually going to go back to the white for the highlight part. Just because. Like I said, it's your painting. You do it the way you want. So we mix this up. Mix the purple and the blue. Get a little bit of that highlight on there. Alright. Get the purple and the blue and a little bit of highlight. Whee! Alright, sorry for the silence there, I was concentrating. And apparently I have problems doing 2 different functions at the same time. So when I concentrate really hard, my mouth don't work. So, here we go. Now this one, as you can see, has more of a purplish blue tone, which is still good, it's fine. You put the colors down you want, you put the colors down you like. It's your painting. And only when somebody actually commissions you to do something should you do different and do what they want, because then they're paying for you. But if you're just doing it on your own and then trying to sell it, you do whatever you want. It's your painting. So I got a tree that's got bluish, purplish, whitish leaves. Maybe it's from fairyland, I don't know. Excuse me, sorry, my allergies are kicking in pretty bad this morning. I mean, they aren't the greatest any day, but kicking in pretty bad this morning because we had some storms last night that were pretty nasty. Dropped the temperature like 20 degrees, and my allergies always kick into high gear whenever we have a significant weather change. My allergies are all seasonal, of course, and so my throat's really dry, and I'm trying to talk. After 5 minutes, my throat gets so dry it's hard to talk. You may not have noticed, but it is. All right, so there's the third tree, and I think I'm going to stop there because I do have a tendency to overdo it and add a lot more when I don't need to. So there's there's tree number 3. And I've had, I don't know how many compliments. A number of people have said I've done really well and my skills are improving. So for all of you who've complimented me, thank you. For all those people who have subscribed to my channel, thank you. It's truly appreciated, and it allows me to reach more people so more people can see this 56-year-old learner and how he's progressing and improving. And if you go back to some of the first videos I recorded up to now, I think you'll notice that there has been improvement. May not be the greatest, but there is improvement, and I'm getting better all the time. The more I practice, the better I get. So here's my 3 trees. I hope you enjoyed them. Now I'm going to try to let them set and dry so that I can have them ready to take down to the fair and put them up for sale. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you in the next one. So until my next video, talk to you later and have a good one.